Hello children, good morning. So children, in the previous class we discussed about uh, the diffusion. That means in the means of transport we were discussing the diffusion. So the diffusion is a passive process in which the molecules move from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. For the movement of the molecules, the gradient should be already present. So now we shall discuss in today's class about the facilitated diffusion. So in this type, so we are discussing about the chapter transport in plants. Okay, in this yesterday we are discussing about the means of transport, isn't it? In the means of transport we have discussed the diffusion. Now facilitated diffusion. So children, for examination this topic is very important. So what is facilitated diffusion? So it is also a type of diffusion in which the molecules move passively without the expenditure of energy from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration, but the movement of molecules are facilitated by the proteins. So these proteins are called as carrier proteins, transporters or permeases, etc. So in diffusion what we observed, there are no proteins, simply the molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So this gradient should be there. So diffusion occurs. So against that is the molecules will move through the concentration, gradient should be there. Okay, so for this type of diffusion the proteins are involved, but here also the gradient should be there. Without the expenditure of energy, passively the molecules will move, but the movement of molecules are brought up by the proteins. Transporters, we call it as by the name transporters, where these proteins are present, where these transporters are present. See children, these proteins are present on the membrane. So in the topic that is cell, you have already discussed about the structure of the plasma membrane. Recall that plasma membrane model, fluid mosaic model. Who proposed? Singer and Nicholson. Fluid mosaic, the mosaic appearance, why it is called as a fluid? So what is there in the membrane? So there are proteins, intrinsic proteins, extrinsic proteins, isn't it? Some proteins they get embedded in between the lipid bilayer molecule that is within the membrane, and they are unable to remove, or they are cannot be extracted. These proteins cannot be extracted, so they are embedded in the membranes. So recall the lipid bilayer, isn't it? There the proteins are present, and the proteins that are present outside, extrinsic proteins, and these proteins can easily be removed or extracted, isn't it? And these are nothing but the proteins that are present on the membrane. They help the molecules to move. Understand? They form the ion channels. So on the membrane there are different types of ion channels are present. See the potassium channel. Understand? So the potassium ion channel. See the channels, sodium channels. So like this there are different ion channels are present, and here the proteins they facilitate the movement of these ions or the substances into the cell or from cell outside. So that is why it is called as facilitated. So these proteins facilitate, they help. Simply these molecules cannot move through the membrane. Why? Because the membranes, some membranes they are impermeable. They do not allow easily to pass these molecules into the cell. Understand? They do not allow these molecules to pass in easily. Then the proteins help. For this also the gradient should be there. So now we shall discuss with the diagram about this transport. So what is this means of transport? So for this, a gradient must already be present. So a gradient must already be present. So then the molecules, for the movement of molecules, then only these molecules will move from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So the gradient should be already be present, and the diffusion rate depends upon the size of the substances. See, the rate of diffusion depends upon the size of the diffusing substance. The smaller the substance, the diffusion rate will be the faster. Okay. Next point, diffusion rate depends upon size of the substance. That means smaller the substance, when the substance are so small, smaller the substance, faster will be the diffusion. So when the substances are smaller and smaller and smaller means the diffusion rate will be faster. When the substances are larger means the diffusion becomes slower. So this is another point. Now the third point, diffusing substance, that is diffusion of substance across a membrane depends upon the solubility of the substance in the lipids. So in the membrane the lipids are available, no, in two layers, isn't it? So the head and tail, lipid bilayer. When you see the lipid, see the heads are faced towards what, and the tails are present where? In the lipid, isn't it? So you have seen the lipid head and the tail. Tails, they are facing inside because they are hydrophobic or hydrophilic. So hydrophobic tails, isn't it? So water loving hydrophilic heads are present, you know. So like this, all along the length of the membrane you can see the lipids. So diffusion of substance across a membrane, diffusion of substance across a membrane depends upon the solubility in lipids. Depends upon solubility in lipids. So what is the meaning of this? So the lipids, the substance that diffuse across the membrane, when they are soluble in the lipids, then they easily diffuse. That means they are easily transported. So the lipid is the major constituent of the membrane, you know. So major constituent of the membrane, in the membrane the lipid is present. So lipid, that is why the membrane, plasma membrane is called as lipid bilayer. Understand? Here the proteins in between, and also extrinsic proteins. These are intrinsic IP, intrinsic proteins. These are XP, extrinsic, external proteins, internal proteins, integral proteins we call in different names. Understand? So, the diffusion of a substance depends upon that. Substance soluble in lipids, so they diffuse through the membrane at a faster rate. The substance which soluble in the lipids, they diffuse at faster rate, and the substances which are insoluble in the lipid, they become tougher for the transportation or for the movement. So, the substances whichever soluble in the lipids, so they diffuse faster. Next point, the fourth one. Next, the facilitated diffusion. For the movement of these molecules or substances, the gradient should be there. So, the molecule simply move from higher concentration to its lower concentration. It is not against the gradient. It is a passive. Okay. So, it is also a passive without the expenditure of energy, the passive. So, the substances that have this hydrophilic moiety, that substances that have hydrophilic moiety. So, the hydrophilic moiety found it difficult to pass through the membrane. So, hydrophilic moiety found difficult to pass through the membrane, isn't it? So, hydrophilic moiety means water loving, hydrophilic, water loving, hydrophobic, water repelling or water hating. The substances which are attracted are water loving substances found it difficult to pass or to cross the membrane, and the substances which are soluble in the lipids, they move faster. So, this is another point. In the facilitated diffusion, some of the proteins are present, and these proteins are called as carrier proteins or transporters, or they are also called as permeases. So, the facilitated diffusion has the special proteins. So, what are these special proteins? They are present on the membrane. They are also called as transporters, or they are also called as permeases, and these without the expenditure of energy, they help the movement of molecules without the expenditure of energy, until all the proteins that are present on the membranes are utilized, until it becomes saturation. The movement occurs when all the proteins are being used. When it reach maximum, the saturation occurs. Okay, so that is the transport rate reach maximum when all the protein transporters are being used. So it becomes the transport rate may reach maximum when all the protein transporters are being used. Then what happens? Then it reaches the saturation state or the saturation phase. So transportation occurs until all the proteins that are present on the membranes are being utilized, and it reaches maximum when all these proteins are being utilized, then it reaches the saturation phase. Okay, that is the next point. The next point, the seventh, facilitated diffusion is another important thing, is they are very specific. It is very specific. So facilitated diffusion is very specific. So very specific means what? It allows the cell to select the substances. Understand? So it is very specific. It allows the cell to select substances. So that is another point. Next, the substance that is required for uptake, that is taken up by the cell, is selected by the cell itself. And all the proteins, when they are utilized, it reaches maximum state. So there are number of proteins and the number of molecules or ions that will be present outside the cell. When all these proteins are being utilized, then it reaches the saturation phase. Next point, and these facilitated proteins are there, no? The transporters, and they are very specific and they are very sensitive also. It is very important. The proteins, these are very sensitive. That is, the protein side chains. So to a protein, I think the primary protein, the secondary structure of a protein, the tertiary, the quaternary structure, you have studied. There will be a side chain around the proteins, and these side chains of the proteins are very sensitive for the inhibitors like some chemicals. So when the chemicals come in contact with these proteins, they stop the transportation. They inhibit. Inhibit means what? To halt or to stop the diffusion. They do not allow. So these chemicals inhibit this process. That is why these proteins are very sensitive. The protein side chains are very sensitive to inhibitors. So these inhibitors may be chemicals present in the side chains. Okay. So the gradient should be there for the movement, when the gradient must already be present. So the gradient should be there, already be present means what? Here one cell should has more number of molecules that are to be transported, and this is the membrane. Okay, membrane, and here to the next system there are lesser molecules, and here on the membrane you can see these are the proteins. These are nothing but the proteins. Through the proteins, these molecules will move either outside or into the cell. So for this cell it is moving out, for this cell it is coming inside. So they are contacted by the membrane. So these membranes, through the proteins, they will pass. So this gradient, see here the higher gradient, here the lower gradient should already be present, then only the movement occurs. So these proteins form the proteins form channels. See, what are these channels in the membrane for the passage of these substances? See, these are the channels. It is one channel, it is another channel, it is another channel. So there are number of channels. So these channels are very specific for the ions. So potassium channel, understand, sodium potassium channels, we call it as sodium channel. So for different ions there are different channels through which these molecules will move. So that is why these proteins are very specific for the substances that pass through the membrane. Okay, they form the channels. So channels means what? The passage through which the substances or the molecules move. That is the channels. The proteins forms the channels in the membrane. Where? In the membrane. For what? For the passage of the substances. For passage of substances. Okay, that is the another thing through which the substances will pass. Some channels, see, these channels are not always open and these channels are not always closed. Some channels are always open, some channels are highly controlled, and some channels they are very large and they allow all the molecules to pass through in and out. So some channels are always these protein channels. Some channels are always open and some channels are controlled. Some are controlled and some are always, they are larger and allow all the variety of molecules to pass. So some are larger. So these channels are small and some are very large and some are always open and some are highly controlled through which the substances pass through. Next point, the porins. Okay, what are these porins? So the porins, they are the proteins form the huge channels. So the proteins, they are proteins. Porins, pore means what? That means a hole, not the big sized. Membrane is very small. So in that membrane the proteins are still more smaller and these proteins forms the channel. That means the pores will be present, holes will be present through which the substances pass. So they are, that is why they are called as porins. So the porins that form huge pores, they are proteins that form huge pores. Huge pores means for the membrane it is huge, but not a cell is very small. We cannot see clearly the cell without microscope. In that the membrane, see, membrane is still more the very thin part of a cell. In that the proteins, in that the pore. So for the membrane the pore is huge. So they are proteins that form the huge pores in the outer membrane. See, this is the outer membrane where it forms huge pores in the outer membrane. So through which the substances pass through on the outer membrane, like the some of the mitochondrions, example plastids, mitochondria, and also in bacteria you come across these euspores. Plastids means what? So chloroplasts, chromoplasts, leucoplasts, plast bodies. In the leaf you come across the chloroplast, chromoplast. In the colored parts of the plant, flower, fruit, etc., chromo, leuco, the roots, the colorless parts of the plant. So the leucoplast. In the plastids also got the membrane. The membrane has these huge pores made up of proteins. They allow the passage of these substances. So the pores. And mitochondria, the bacteria, also has such channels. So they are called as the porins. So the porins. Next point. And aquaporins. So they are called as water channels. Aquaporins, very important. Water channels or aquaporins. Water porins means what? These are the proteins that forms the huge pores on the outer membrane of plastids, mitochondria, bacteria, etc., and they allow the passage of the substances through these membranes. And water channels. So what are these water channels? The water channels are also called as water means what? The aquaporins. So there are 8 different types of proteins which allow the passage of the water. Different types of proteins. So made up of water channels are made up of 8 different types of aquaporins. Different types of aquaporins. Aqua means what? Water. Aquatic. Animals we call it. The animals which live in the water, aquatic animals. So aquaporins, these are the channels. Each water channel, so through which the water easily enters in through the membrane. Each water channel is surrounded by 8 proteins. You can write it in this manner also. Each water channel is surrounded by 8 proteins. So that is why they are called as porins, aquaporins. Porins, these are nothing but the proteins. They form huge pores. Aqua, these are the proteins made up of 8 different types of proteins which allow the water, movement of the water. So that is why they are called as aquaporins. Okay. So with the help of the diagram, we shall have, shall I rub it? I will just draw the diagram, simple diagram here itself. If possible, kindly take down. So now, the membrane. Okay. Right. So the membrane these are nothing but the lipids. Okay. Now, the another membrane, here see what is this? From here to here it is a membrane, and here there are some molecules. Some molecules. So these are nothing but the proteins. They form the channels or the proteins. So facilitated diffusion, these proteins that are present on the membrane, on one side of the protein, these molecules will stick and it becomes a solute carrier complex. This protein is called as a carrier protein, isn't it? They are also called as carrier proteins. What are these? These are the substances or the solutes that have to be transported, and this is the membrane outside cell. And what is this portion? This is inside cell, outside cell, and this portion is inside the cell. Outside the cell, these substances are more. Inside the cell, these substances are less. So that's why the substance move from higher concentration to its lower concentration without the expenditure of energy, passively. But they cannot easily pass through the membrane. Through the protein carrier, they are called as transporters. So these protein carriers, these are nothing but proteins. Through this protein carrier, these molecules are transported. See, when these substances come and bind to the protein, it becomes a complex. What is that complex? Solute carrier complex or solute carrier protein complex. Now, this protein will rotate towards inside, which will turn towards inside, and this molecule will be left inside. So it will rotate in this manner and turns towards the inner face of the cell, and this solute is released, or the substance is released into the cell. Now let us see in another diagram. See 1, 2, 3. Here the molecules that is present will be released into the cell. So this is outside the cell, out, and this is inside the cells. So this is how this protein that are present on the membrane facilitate the transport of this substance. Facilitated diffusion. Now, okay, you got it? So when all these proteins, there are many proteins on the membrane. These proteins are specific. These proteins are sensitive. When all these proteins are utilized by these substances, and it undergoes saturation, and it reaches the maximum rate of, that is, transportation. Okay. Now we shall discuss about the passive symport, antiport, uniport, and active transport. Shall I rub it here? Now the next topic, passive symport and antiport. passive symports and antiports. So some carrier proteins are there, no? Some carrier proteins. So little bit you try to understand my writing. Okay, antiport PO or so some carrier proteins allow diffusion only if two different types of molecules when they pass through the membrane. So depending upon that, when some proteins irrespective of other molecules, their molecules will move towards one side, and in some proteins they allow only the passage of one molecule. So that depending upon that we classify this into different types. Now let us discuss about some carrier proteins. They allow what? Diffusion. They allow diffusion only if two types of molecules move together. Only if two types of molecule move together, not alone, together. So then we classify it into different types. Symport. So when two molecules move in the same direction across the membrane, then these proteins will allow in the same direction the molecules will move. The molecules, that is two molecules, the two molecules move in the same direction, across the membrane. Then it is called as symport. Through the carrier proteins, then only these proteins will allow. I said some carrier proteins allow diffusion only if two types of molecules move together. Either they move together towards one side, or they move in opposite direction, or irrespective of the other molecule, independent of other molecule, the molecules will move. Depending upon that, then only the carrier protein will allow. Then based on that we classify it into symport, when two molecules move in the same direction. Next, the antiport. See, in same direction means, see here the membrane, plasma membrane, and these are the carrier proteins, CP carrier proteins. In symport, the molecules will move in same direction, either into the cell or outside the cell. But seeing that it is a substance A and this is a substance B, they should move together in the same direction. Symport. Got it? Next, antiport. So when the two molecules move in opposite direction across the membrane through the carrier proteins. So when two molecules move in opposite direction through the carrier proteins, that is of the plasma membrane or membrane. Next one is uniport. Very important. Symport, antiport and uniport. When molecules move across the membrane independent of other molecules. Okay, when molecules move across the membrane independent of other molecule. When move across the membrane independent of other molecule, then it is called as uniport. See, the passively through the carrier protein, but gradient should be there, and these carrier proteins allow if two types of molecules are traveled. Let us see with the help of the diagram. Okay, so this is the protein molecule that are present on the plasma membrane. And this is the plasma membrane thing that. So what is this? It is membrane. And what are these? These are carrier proteins. So the carrier proteins, now these molecules will move. See, if the molecule will move, carrier protein, think that it is a molecule A. So independent of other molecule, it simply moves in any other direction, whether the molecule can move in same direction or in opposite direction, this molecule will move, that is uniport. Next, the antiport. See, through the carrier protein, the molecule A and this molecule will be move in opposite direction, then it is called as antiport. Okay, next, see here the molecule A and B will move in the same direction through the proteins across this membrane, then it is called as symport. Okay, so that is the uniport, antiport, symport. Symport, two molecules move in same direction across the membrane through carrier proteins. Antiport, the two molecules move in opposite direction A and B, then only this protein will allow. If they move in opposite direction, then irrespective or independent of other molecule, the molecule will move on moving. Whether the molecule may move in the same direction or opposite direction, it is not bothered. Then the uniport. Children, I think you all understood about this facilitated diffusion and this symport, antiport, uniport, very important. Facilitated diffusion, many a times it is repeated, and this symport, uniport and antiport. Now we shall move on to the another topic, that is active transport. Till now what we have discussed is the passive transport without the expenditure of energy, that is through the concentration gradient. Gradient should already be present through which the molecules will move. But sometimes what happens, against the concentration gradient the molecules will move. Against the concentration gradient means what? Within the cell there are more number of already solute or substances are present, and outside the cell there are lesser number of solutes or substances are present. Even then the cells pick up those substances from outside. From lower concentration to higher concentration, when the molecules move against the concentration gradient, then it is called as active transport against the concentration gradient. So it is called as uphill. For the transportation of these substances, the protein carriers are required, and the energy is very important here. The ATP is the energy that is utilized for the transportation of these substances against the concentration gradient. the substances move, then it is called as passive transport. Okay, very sorry, active transport. I said passive, not passive. What we have discussed till now is passive. Now we shall discuss about the active transport. Active transport. Active transport means what? It is the transport of the substances against the concentration gradient. Transport of substances or ions, etc., against the concentration gradient, against the concentration gradient, against the concentration gradient means what? From lower concentration to higher concentration. See, already here I will give these two cells. Think that these two compartments as cell, and here it is one cell. So where there are more number of solutes in this cell. Understand? What we discussed till now is the movement of the molecules from higher to lower. But here what happens? Against, from lower to higher, the molecules will move. How they will move? Against the concentration gradient. When this cell is required, these substances or ions, it will pick up by using the energy against the concentration energy. So the transport of substances against the concentration gradient by the use of energy. Energy comes from ATP. The enzyme ATPase is very important here. So by using that energy, the substances move, and these substances are picked up from lower concentration to higher concentration. That's why it is called as uphill transport. Uphill. See, from down to up, from up to down, it is very easy to travel. If you just take a ball and climb up the hill, and you just leave the ball at the top of the hill, it will simply roll down. So from down to up, it takes a lot of energy. A pressure is required or a push is required. We should put a lot of energy to climb a hill. That is why uphill movement. So this type of movement is called as uphill transport, from lower concentration to higher concentration. Here also the proteins, different types of proteins are involved. Different types of proteins are involved in transportation. These proteins will pick up the substances from this cell, and they use the energy for pushing. They require the energy. By using that energy, they will turn and they will leave these substances into the higher concentration. So from low to high, the transportation. Here also the transportation reaches maximum when all the proteins of the membrane are utilized and it reaches the saturation. So when all proteins are utilized, when all proteins are utilized, it undergoes saturation. Understand? Transportation are being utilized, it undergoes saturation, and these proteins are also sensitive. Proteins, transporters are required and are also sensitive here. Sensitive for what? To inhibitors. The protein chains are there, side chains. They are very sensitive, and these proteins are very sensitive for the chemicals that inhibit the process. So the carrier proteins are very sensitive for the inhibitors, the side chains of the proteins. Okay, active transport. What is active transport? It is the transportation of substance against the concentration gradient from lower concentration to higher concentration by using the energy. So, it is also called as uphill transport, and here the proteins are required for the transportation of the substances, and when all the proteins are being utilized, it reaches the saturation phase, and these proteins are very sensitive for the inhibitors. So, sometimes the cell, when the molecules are required, by using the energy, by using these carrier proteins, they will take. So, in most of the times the diffusion or facilitated diffusion occurs. I think children, you understood these topics. Okay.